Okay, hi guys, I'm very excited because today we are doing our first annual project planning video. I asked on my Instagram story if y'all would want to see this because it is going to have a lot of spoilers for what I make this year, but most of you voted yes. And I think it'd be really helpful for me because I feel like the past few years, the projects I make, I'm not very intentional about it. It's like, oh, I saw this inspo photo, or oh, I have this yarn. And then some of the larger undertakings or more creative projects that I'm very passionate about just kind of fall by the wayside. I also want to be more intentional about my yarn because y'all have probably noticed I just buy whatever yarn I think is pretty and then find a way to use it later. But there are certain projects where I'm not going to make it unless I have the perfect yarn for it. So I kind of want to identify the gaps in my yarn stash and make those purchases ahead of time. And I think for you guys, it would be fun to get more of a look into how I find inspo and plan my projects. Like usually when I start a video, I already know what I'm going to make. But today we're just going to do like a live brainstorm session. So scroll through my Instagram saves, my Pinterest boards, and just start figuring out which projects I'm most excited about. Now, if you watch my videos, you can probably guess that we're going to be doing all of this in Milanote, which is the tool I use for pretty much all my creative project planning. I can just show you some of my previous boards as an example. So this is for my Easy Breezy sweater pattern. For starters, we have this mood board where I saved a bunch of inspo that I liked. Then I have a materials board. This is where I put together some color combos I liked from my own yarn stash. We have a to-do list, a pattern release timeline. This diagrams and measurements board is just like a brain dump of all the digital and physical sketches that I made, measurements. We also have a collaborative board that I made for my pattern testers, so they were able to jump in and put their yarn color choices so I could visualize that. I have some links out to Google Drive folders. Basically everything and anything related to this pattern lives here, and it's just a very multimedia way to consolidate everything. Now, for today's purposes, I have this project ideas board that I haven't populated yet. So as we go to build out this board, if you don't know where to start, Milanote actually has hundreds of templates you can choose from. I like to go into this crafts and makers section. So this is like a more explicitly broken down plan. This brainstorm board is good if you want to look at like different aspects of the project. And this yarn combos board, it's not all the yarn that I own, obviously, but I try and drop in like new purchases or yarn that I'm excited about. And it's just an easy way to play around with color combos. So they have this swatch tool that I love. You just drag it in and then you can double click and take the colors straight from the product photo. And this just makes it easy to see what colors look good together, like especially for multicolored yarns, like this one or this one. I can pull out all the different shades and that helps me figure out like what solid colors in my collection will be complementary. If you want to give Milanote a try, you can just use the link in my description and sign up for free. I genuinely think it's the best tool for fiber arts planning or just general creative planning. Okay, now we want to start looking at inspo. I'm going to go on Pinterest first. I don't really post on Pinterest anymore, but other people will still post my stuff. And so sometimes I look up crochet inspo and the result is me, which is a jump scare. I pretty much save everything to my crochet inspo board in case y'all want to follow. There's a lot on here, but I'm just going to try and mention the stuff that I care about the most. This is a pattern that I have been wanting to do forever. It's from Ronti Studios, one of my favorite creators. It's just the really cool spiky stitch. I'm a pretty beginner at knitting, so that looks hard AF. But I feel like it'll be a good challenge for me. And if I want to save this photo in Milanote, I don't actually have to copy or download it. I can just click right here because I have the web clipper extension and I can just hit save to project ideas. And then it'll show up under unsorted here and I can just pull it in. It's nice that it has the link in case you want to know where you got it, but you can also take that off. I'm actually going to go to her Instagram really quickly because I know there are some different silhouettes of the spiky top. Okay, see, this is actually like a mohair version, but I love the sort of mock neck silhouette. So I am going to save this as well. Also going to save this one because I like the bright pink. And I'm going to save this one as well. And then I can just go ahead and pull all these in. I actually think I'm going to swatch some of these colors that I like. Okay, and here we have one kind of project idea. Back to Pinterest. You can see I saved a lot of like Chinese inspired tops. If you watch my China vlog, you know that I really want to make more crochet or knit pieces inspired by Chinese fashion. So like this little crochet top is so cute. I also love how they color blocked it and added the ribbon. I think the asymmetry and the little bows and contrast trimming on this one are really cute. And I did mention that I wanted to do like a full chi paul dress. I mean, that would be quite the undertaking, but like A little black cotton one would be so me. Let me actually go ahead and pull in the top that I already made because I just posted it. You can see I really gravitate towards like a pink and red and black color scheme for that. I have been really wanting to do something that has like a really cool kind of color blocking effect. I love designs like this that are split down the middle and just combine a bunch of different colors and they just somehow like work together. I think what would be so cute is if I use my Easy Breezy crochet sweater pattern, but instead of doing stripes or a solid, doing more of this like multicolor effect. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull in some photos of that sweater pattern just to remind myself. And I'll drop in a little note here like color block Easy Breezy sweater. Okay, one thing that I've been dying to do forever is incorporating beading into my pieces. I technically have done that. I did the beads on that crochet mesh button up, but I feel like those are very subtle. Like I want to do a piece where the beads are really the star of the show. Gonna put like dainty mohair plus beads. Okay, this is cute, but I feel like I should take a break from like the crochet flower stuff this year. I did a lot of that last year. Oh, there's a purple top that I just saved. Oh, both these tops right here. You might recognize this if you watch my previous videos. But my roommate had been working on this pattern ever since we went to Copenhagen. I think it's called the Cutie Tee. And the thing is, the creator who wrote the pattern, it was her first pattern ever, and English is not her first language. So I'm not gonna lie, it was not the easiest thing to understand. Like, you definitely have to implement a lot of your own common sense slash knitting knowledge. So since I put in all the work to figure it out, I'm like, I feel like I should make one now too, because it's also such a cute design. It does take a really long time though. Like I'm kind of on the fence about it, just because I don't know, it might have to be like 2 videos for it to be really worth all the time. It's also a little bit of a weather confused top. Like it's definitely warm, and I always find warm short sleeved tops like a little difficult to style. Okay, we have a lot of like cream beachy stuff. Oh, this photo, I've actually seen it like a million times. Why is it not loading? It's actually very similar to what one of my pattern testers did for the Easy Breezy sweater pattern. Let me just go on my site and show you what I'm talking about. It's this pattern listing right here. It's like all the white mohair, and then the thicker, less translucent part is over the boobs, and I just feel like it's a cool design element. Okay, you can see I do have some shorts and tops sets saved. I came out with the summer stripes short, I don't even remember what I called it, but like a micro short pattern, pretty similar to this one, last summer. And I do think it'd be fun to make like a matching top, maybe not a tiny top. I kind of like that this is like a longer top. I love how a long top and a low-rise bottom look together. And I do think I'm guilty of coming up with patterns and then just like never making the design again. So I think it could be fun to revisit the pattern and make like a fresh set this year. Let me pull in the one that I did last year. Okay, this one right here, I mean, I've discussed before that I don't think this top actually goes with this bottom, so it would be fun to make a matching set that actually matches. Okay, nothing here is really speaking to me. Like this is another micro shorts situation, same with this. Ooh, I mean, this is obviously not the same as my shorts pattern. It's more of a shell stitch, but I do kind of like this silhouette. So let me add this. I do kind of like this because this is another design that I think you could easily get by using my Easy Breezy sweater pattern, but they just alternated like a thicker yarn and a thinner yarn and used these really vibrant colors. This actually looks really similar to a sweater I made a few years ago that did really well on Instagram. Okay, this one, I mean, it's like a weird length because I ran out of yarn, but similar vibe. I did freehand this one, but I think if you used the Easy Breezy sweater pattern, you could come up with something pretty similar. It just wouldn't have the kind of like mock neck turtleneck silhouette. But I do think this would be another fun adaptation of that pattern. I guess I'll go put it over here with the other ones. I don't know why I'm saving all these ideas, because what is the likelihood that I actually end up making that many easy breezy sweaters? Maybe I will. I mean, I should be better at like promoting my own patterns, I guess. Oh, this is like a design that I've gone back and forth on. It's like this Miu Miu inspired color block situation. It's actually a really good way to use up scrap yarn. I made a bag kind of like this a few years ago. A lot of people said it reminded them of Legos, and I like the vibe of the textile. Like, I didn't like it as a bag, but I think it could be cute as a clothing item. It just definitely wouldn't be my style. Like, I don't think I'd wear it. What else do we have? I do like this flower top, but again, I think I should take a break from the flowers. This is interesting. I don't like this particular skirt per se, but I have seen this kind of like knit or crochet grid mesh design a lot, and I feel like it's very distinct and unique. I don't know where, but I've seen like a sweater version. Okay, this skirt, I kind of like the way they created these random gaps, and it's like more of like a distressed, almost apocalyptic vibe that I'm kind of into. I don't know if I would like this as a skirt, maybe more as a top, but I'm just gonna throw it over here. You can see we've kind of reached a phase where I don't have clear ideas. I'm just brain dumping. This is another idea that I've had for a long time. This falls into the category of things that like are not that exciting to make, but that I think I'd actually wear. It's like this asymmetrical sort of shirt dress situation. I love like a really kind of open, distressed sweater, and I also really love like layering and playing with dimension. So I love a piece like that that is kind of a shirt and kind of a dress. Okay, we're getting further back in the board and I'm feeling less inspired because this is stuff that I've like had on my board for longer, so I'm kind of whatever about it. I do like, okay, I don't like this top in particular, but I like the idea of layering a more solid knit textile over a more open crochet textile. I'm gonna put this in the same vein as like this skirt, although I'm gonna crop this because that is bothering me. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, this is like basically the same thing, although I like this version a lot better. These are both knit. I think it's just like a thicker yarn and a thinner yarn. I think I do prefer the cream over the black because the black gives kind of like Halloween vibes, whereas the cream gives me more like apocalypse. Oh, this is kind of in the same vein as the skirt. Like, I think this effect where you just like skip a bunch of stitches and like randomly reconnect is cool because you're really using very basic techniques, just like a half double crochet or double crochet, but you can create like more interesting, less linear shapes. So I'll throw that in there. This sweater is really cool, but I'm not even sure how you'd make that. I also love this, but again, doesn't feel that practical to me. Oh, we've reached the part of the board which is my own content, so we must stop now because I feel no urge to see my 2020 crochet TikToks. Now we can go over to Instagram. This is like my crochet saved folder, which is very expansive. This dress, or I guess this is this a dress or a skirt top? It's a dress. I love the silhouette of it. I don't think I've ever crocheted a dress, and I'm not much of a dress wearer, but I do love like a drop waist silhouette. This is not even that drop waisty. And then you can see I saved 4 bajillion mohair striped sweaters. These are all from the same brand. I want to make one of these so badly. Like, as far as pieces that I want to make to genuinely wear and style, this is like the top of the list right now. But I do feel like I shouldn't make it unless I'm gonna write a pattern or something. I don't know, like, would it be that interesting to watch me make this? It's literally just a striped sweater, but it's brushed mohair. I've never brushed mohair before. I literally just ordered a brush to do that. I also just love these color combos. Like, I would never think to combine all of these, but they look so good together. Whatever I do though, I really want to make the matching scarf. Y'all know I have like mixed feelings about skinny scarves. I always want to make them and then I can never figure out how to style them. Okay, this, I already have this saved, but I do think this shoulder cutout silhouette is really cool, so maybe I'll add that. Okay, these pieces, I saved them all from the same creator. I'm obsessed with her. She freehands the most beautiful pieces, and she always includes photos of the nature that inspired her, and she does such a good job of like translating the beauty of nature into fiber arts. Because one of the things that I find frustrating, or maybe not frustrating, but having fiber arts as a creative outlet, it's not like painting, right? Where you can just like draw what you see in front of you. And I often find aspects of nature really beautiful, but it feels hard to translate that into clothing, especially when fiber arts is technically like a very like grid-like linear art form. Obviously, you can create freeform shapes. I just feel like my brain is less wired like that, but like look at her pieces, like with all the different lines and the layering and the colors and the beads. I could stare at her account all day, but let me just dump these in a corner of my board for now. I have for years now though wanted to do a piece that's inspired by like ocean waves as well as like rocks, because that is kind of the scenery that I grew up around in Southern California. Okay, see like this little vest top, it kind of falls in the same category of multicolor color blocking that I was talking about earlier. So I'm just going to add that along with these guys. Okay, this right here, I'm not gonna click into it because it's a reel. You're probably wondering why I saved it. It's not even knit, but the silhouette kind of reminded me of my stretchy square top, and it got me thinking, what if I took that top, but I attached fabric to the bottom to make it a dress instead. I don't really have an inspo photo for this. I'm just gonna go ahead and sketch this in Milano. So this is another feature that I love. I can just go ahead and draw straight into the board. Y'all probably know by now I have a touchscreen laptop, so I like to just draw straight on here. So if this is my normal stretchy square top, we're not gonna talk about my drawing skills, okay? That's not at all relevant here. And then what if we like attached like loose draping panels of knit fabric around it, almost kind of like curtains, and made like a sort of drop waist dress. I am realizing now that this sketch like probably looks like absolutely nothing to anyone besides me, but it makes sense to me, okay? So it works. And then I can just add some notes on here. So I'll put like stretchy square top and then like draped knit panels in case I don't understand what that sketch means in a few weeks. Oh, now I saved this because I love this kind of open knit one shoulder sweater. It's pretty similar to the other one that I saved off Pinterest. So I'm gonna put these two together and I'm just gonna write like asymmetrical open one shoulder shirt dress. That sounds like a Shein product description, but we're gonna ignore that. Okay, hi, Grace from the future, because some of my video footage got corrupted, but I'm just gonna voice over what I'm showing you here. This reel has some of the cutest drop waist dresses. I don't like how an A-line silhouette looks on me, like that cinches at the waist, because I do have a wider rib cage and wider hips. I feel like a drop waist is way more flattering. I'm just gonna drop this in with the other drop waist dress, and I'm gonna leave the link so I can watch the full reel when I wanna reference it. This sweater, I love how they striped a really thick fuzzy yarn and a really thin yarn. Like I think they used the same size needles for the whole piece. And I actually bought a thick fuzzy yarn recently and immediately thought of a concept kind of similar to this. Like I wanted to use it in a more unexpected way. Okay, now this post I actually saved to remind myself that I bought this pattern. It's the Hurricane mesh sweater from Crafty Hija. I just really like the motif. I don't know if I would follow the pattern exactly for the silhouette. And I think it'd be a great men's sweater. It's hard to find good unisex designs. And I like that it's mesh without being like super open or see-through. This is another post that I saved to remind myself of a pattern. The creator Loose Ends was kind enough to send me the pattern for free. And I'm so excited to get around to making this. I have never done this kind of chunky t-shirt yarn before. And I feel like it gives you such an expensive store-bought look. I also think a purse like this would honestly be super my style and something that I would actually like wear and use every day. This canvas is actually part of a series that my friend Alex is doing, and it reminded me of an idea that I've had for years now. I've always wanted to do a canvas crochet piece that's like a 3D kind of rolling hill geometric shape thing. Like I would stuff it so that it would come out of the wall. Just in general, I want to get into more sculptural artistic crochet pieces besides just wearables. And this I saved not because I want to make the knot pillow, but because I want to make a Chinese knot pillow. I don't know if you're familiar. I'll just show you. You've probably seen these. They're like Chinese knots that we tie out of red cord. And I think it'd be so cool if I use the same methodology of like crocheting and stuffing a tube and tying it, but instead did one of these knots. Which now that I'm looking at it would be actually extremely difficult, but it'd be really sick if I could pull it off. Now, this moment I love, like a shirt with the hood attached. I feel like that's so on trend now. And I almost want to take it a step further and do like a full length bodycon knit dress. Think like Dune, like Zendaya. I guess not Zendaya, more like Bene Gesserit, so Rebecca Ferguson in Dune. This fuzzy sweater, the pink, green, and cream is such a cute color combo. And it's kind of similar to the other brush mohair sweaters I saved, so I'm just gonna drop that in there as like another color combo idea. This sweater, this is actually my friend Edward from college, and it's a basic black sweater, but because they added this grid of kind of like gaps, it just immediately makes it so much more interesting. I'm gonna put it with the like grid skirt because I feel like it falls in the same vein of kind of like geometric elevated basics. And then this is another drop waist dress, I think from the same creator. I love the kind of earth tone vibes on this one. I'm just gonna save it with the other drop waist dresses because I like the silhouette. Okay, I had to go grab an Arizona to crack open because my throat is getting dry from all this yapping. Okay, I can't open this. I just got my nails done, by the way. Like they're like Lunar New Year nails, so they have like jade rings and flowers on them. They're so sick, but they also make it virtually impossible for me to open anything. I also added another light because the sun has fully set, because I forgot that the sun sets at like freaking 4 p.m. these days. Okay, the board is getting quite expansive. I'm cutting myself off. I'm giving myself like one more thing to add. Oh, this is actually exactly what I was talking about with like my Dune Zendaya bodycon sheer dress situation. Like, look how much of a sleigh. Oh, how much of a sleigh this is. This is more like a crochet mesh. I was thinking more of an open knit, but either way, that is really sick. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. These are all the ideas that I have for now because this is plenty. Now, the next step is going through and starting to think about what yarn I want to use for each project. I'm obviously not going to fully flesh that out because then this video would be 17 hours, but I want to start thinking about it. I'm actually going to start with this mesh sweater pattern because I already know who I want to make this for, and I do think it's going to be one of my first projects. I'm gonna go on her Instagram though and get some better photos of the sweater because you can't even see what it looks like in that one. This creator has a bunch of really cool patterns, by the way. Okay, so this is a good example of a men's sweater. This is the version she made, which I also love. The drapey fit is really nice. Now, in terms of colorway, I mean, I do like how it looks in a solid color, just as a nice basic. But I was thinking, I have this vest I made for my roommate like years ago. Let me see if I can find a photo. Here, okay, you can see I did this vest in cream, but added this like random smattering of red, which gives a cool effect. So if we go into my yarn combos board and look at like my friend's cotton 8-4, which is probably the best cotton for this color and this kind of like cranberry red would be good. Okay, like you can see those yarns match the color swatches pretty well. I also want to take note of the fact that I don't actually love the collar ribbing, so I'm just gonna draw straight on here. And I'm just gonna circle the collar and put like need. Next one we can tackle is this mohair sweater. I'm clearly considering like every freaking color combination under the sun. Okay, honestly, I think I'm just gonna copy like every single color of mohair that I see on this board. I do feel like this blue kind of matches this blue, which would be nice because I could like never figure out what to use that yarn for. The color is just a little bit too bright. I do think though I'd have to find like the perfect chocolatey brown to pair it with because I do feel like this color combo only works if you really have that like warm brown. My go-to is usually the kid silk from Hobby. Ooh, I actually think this, oh, it's called chocolate. I think this color is honestly perfect. See, like that is like a perfect match for what we're looking for. And I'm actually just gonna draw on top of this really quickly and put a big star on it because that's how I'm gonna remind myself that that's what I need to buy. I do also think that like this dark blue and this green together could kind of be similar to this one here in the middle, but I also know that I kind of want to use these colors for a different project, so I'll just leave these for here now as like a second choice. Okay, now speaking of striped sweaters, I'm actually gonna skip to this striped sweater that was alternating the thick fuzzy yarn with the thin yarn because I got this fuzzy green yarn in Korea. I couldn't find a product photo of it because I don't speak Korean, but I have a photo of it on my camera roll, and you can actually go into the Milanote app and just pull in an image straight from your phone, and then it'll populate right here into this phone icon, and I can just drag it straight in. So I feel like that would be perfect for this. I actually think I might like this mint green with, I don't know, kind of like a pop of pink like the inspo photo, or even with this blue. Even though I just said I was gonna use that blue for the other sweater. Y'all let me know if you think I should use this bright blue for like the blue and brown striped sweater, or for this like mint green and blue striped sweater. Now I'm actually gonna take all these pieces that I know I wanna do in a neutral color and just move them out of the way, because that's just a matter of ordering like a black or cream yarn in the right fiber and weight. I don't really have to agonize over color choices. Next I have these nature inspired pieces. I think I'm just gonna go into the yarn combos board and pretty much take anything that's in the like yellow, green, blue color story. So you can see I just dropped in a bunch of this like reddish, orange, yellow yarn, these green colors, the blues. You can tell if I want to do the more oceanic route, I'm going to need like some more vibrant blue colors. Now, for this color block, Easy Breezy sweater, I feel like I'd probably try to use the yarn I already have for that. I have a bunch of like random colorful yarn I don't really use. The all white one would obviously just be white. For this striped one, I need to find a color combo that I like where like one yarn is a thin mohair and one yarn is thicker. I do have color combos like this one right here, where I don't know specifically what I want to use them for. I just noticed that I like those two colors together. I mean, I think both of these would be like really pretty for a kind of striped sweater, so I can decide later. For these beaded pieces, I definitely want to do it on like a mohair in a kind of like light pretty color. I have white mohair, but I don't have like a pale blue. So maybe, yeah, something like this baby blue. I am also going to just draw on top of this. That is a real pen, not my laptop pen. Put a giant star to indicate that I need to buy it. Next, this cutie tee, I actually already kind of know what I want to use. I have a ton of this like navy blue Friends cotton. I bought it for something. I bought like a bulk pack of it, and now I can't remember what I was going to use it for. And I think it pairs really pretty with this green. I think that's why I wasn't gravitating towards the dark blue and light green colorway for the striped mohair sweater, because I kind of wanted to use it for the QTT. Although, I don't know, I was really excited about this project, but I'm starting to second guess if it's like the best use of my time. Now for the spiky shirt, I know for sure I don't have a yarn for this because I basically need a shit ton of one solid DK weight, like I think ideally merino, and I don't have that much of like any yarn. I know this is going to take a lot. I'm looking at the DK weight yarn on Hobby, and I think what I like most is this Winter Glow Solid. It is like 50% wool, 50% acrylic, but I just really like the colorways that they have. So like this is kind of similar to the purple one that I pinned. I like this bubblegum pink once again. I'm actually having second thoughts about the cobalt blue because I just remembered like I make too many things in this color, but I do like it. And this is like not one of the colorways I was thinking of, but this kind of like denimish indigo color is actually really cool. My only worry is that you won't be able to see the spikes as well because it's a little bit darker. I mean, y'all can comment what you're leaning the most towards, but I actually think I might do the pink. This short set, I like was thinking that I don't want to do the blue colorway again because obviously that's what I did last year, but tell me why every single thing I pinned is blue. I think the key is like doing more shades of blue and not including this extremely bright cobalt blue because I think that's what makes it like extremely tropical and harder to style. I am literally dumb. I forgot that I bought all these shades of blue cotton last summer to make a pair of these shorts for my friend Erica, and then I never got around to it. Sorry, Erica. Maybe I'll do it this summer. But I think these will be perfect. All that we have left is this dusk bag, which I actually already bought the yarn for. It's in here. It's these two t-shirt yarns, the bright red and the pink. My roommate wants to make one in the bright red, and then I wanted to make one in the pink. Actually, I also wanted to make one in the bright red, but she claimed it first, and then I was like, okay, fine. I'll make a pink one. I do think like they're very different vibes. The pink will be cute as like a more subtle pop of color. Okay, and the last thing, I mean, this is very broad. It's like this drop waist dress. I could really use any yarn for this. Actually, now that I think about it, I have these color changing yarns I got from Arcane Fiberworks. They do the most beautiful color changing yarns that are like inspired. Like you can see these like different images, especially nature. I think like either this Ice Princess one or this like kind of earthy, mossy vibe would be cool. And I actually already put some solid yarns that I have that pair with it. I mean, obviously I could also do this in a solid color. Like I think just like a dark red solid drop waist dress would be cute. But I really have been looking for a project to use this color changing yarn for. Okay, and now we can zoom out, and this is our beautiful, gorgeous, stunning board. I'm so proud of it. And this gives us like a high level plan for each project. But what I also love about Milanote is that you can nest boards. So for example, this color block sweater is probably the first thing I'm going to make because it's for a friend who's about to move out of New York. And I can go ahead and make a board specifically for this project. We already have some content from the main board that I can paste in. I'm also gonna drag in the actual file for the pattern. I cannot be the only one who like purchases a pattern, downloads it, and then can never find it again. And I actually also did a swatch of this pattern like a while ago because I wanted to see how it would look with like the Friends cotton I normally use. So I can just go ahead and upload that, and it shows up right here, so I can drag that in. And I actually also already took my Friends measurements. I think those are in my physical notebook. So I can just type these in here, and I can also drag this very ugly sketch in next to the corresponding measurements. And so you can see this is just kind of my home base for everything related to this project. It's also really good for memorializing things. Like I always tell myself I'm going to remember what yarn I used, how big I made things, like how many rows I did, whatever. And it's so much easier to write it here instead of like staring at the finished piece and trying to figure out how I made it. And like I mentioned earlier, Milanote also has good like organizational tools besides just like the visual planning. So I like using their table feature to make timelines. So you can see here, I want to upload this video by February. So this is what I need to like film the intro and measurements, finish the torso, finish the first sleeve, etc. And the last step from this board, which I'm not going to bore you with, is figuring out the order in which I'm going to make everything, because obviously I want to keep in mind like seasonality. I also want to do a good mix of freehand projects where I'm using someone else's pattern, projects where I'm using my pattern. And I actually already started building this. So you can see here I have yet another timeline. And what's nice is I can link directly to a board. So if I just drag in this link and paste in the link, it will automatically populate the tile for my color block sweater board. And you can actually take this little arrow and point it into the table. And this way, when I'm like looking at my different video ideas, I don't have to go into this giant product ideas board and go searching for it. Okay, I think I'm gonna start closing out the video from here because my throat is getting so dry. It literally feels like it's closing up. And as much as I love project planning, I get overwhelmed by how many ideas I have. and it's a lot of decision making, which I feel like is very mentally fatiguing. I feel like my brain just had a workout. Also, reminder that you can sign up for Milanote for free using the link in my description. I genuinely love it. Like you can probably tell from this video, I will always have things in disparate places, like random notes in my notes app, photos in my camera roll, stuff in my journal, like physical sketches, stuff saved in Pinterest, stuff in my Google Drive. And I tell myself that I'm going to remember where everything is, and obviously I don't. So Milanote just helps me consolidate everything. Like I've accepted my creative process is very chaotic, but I feel like Milanote allows me to be chaotic but still organized, if that makes sense. I really cannot tell from filming it if this is going to be fun to watch. In hindsight, it would have been a lot easier if I had just presented all these ideas to you, but I think the interactive nature of it is a little bit more realistic. Like this is kind of all over the place, but I think that's the reality of planning projects. It's hard to decide what you want to do. And obviously nothing is finalized. So please let me know in the comments, like what projects you're most excited to see me make, what color combos you like the most, because for a lot of these I haven't decided yet. And if you are also feeling a little bit overwhelmed about what to make, I would recommend doing a brain dump like this. It feels very good just to get it all out of your head. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Cupie, say bye to everybody, and we will see you in the next one. Bye guys.
You left the kitchen light on and it's 2 to go to there. It's better.